2:33 in the morning. The Persian Gulf is black as ink. A flight of aircraft is slicing across the night, and every time Iranian radar tries to lock it down, the contact slips off the screen. Within minutes, the whole horizon over the Strait of Hormuz will be glowing red with burning oil tanks. If this raid lands clean, Iran's southern oil artery is paralyzed before sunrise. And here's the part that's making Tehran sweat. 6 hours later, they still cannot name who hit them. Just hours after Washington publicly endorsed a ceasefire, the Gulf looked almost calm. Lavin Island, one of Iran's most critical offshore oil and command nodes, was running flat out trying to claw back the damage from earlier strikes. Out in the Gulf of Oman, the USS Gerald R. Ford sat just outside Iran's coastal radar bubble. Meanwhile, low over the water, hugging the chop to stay under the radar horizon, UAE fighters were already inbound. 2:37. A series of high-precision kinetic impacts rip into the core of Lavin Island. Command posts gone, logistics nodes gone, storage tanks ruptured and burning. But who fired the shots is still a mystery to Iranian operators. Inside the Tehran command bunker, the first guess of a technical malfunction dies fast. Signals intelligence picks up the electronic fingerprint of a Mirage 2009. The UAE Air Force. This wasn't an accident. This was a coordinated incision into Iran's flank. Iran swings into full combat posture within minutes. The Bavar 373, Tehran's homegrown long-range surface-to-air system, lights up its phased array radar and sweeps the southern horizon. Coastal batteries load, Sayyad, 4 missiles. Crews scramble to spin up swarms of Shahed loitering munitions for a retaliation strike against UAE soil. Less than half an hour after the ceasefire ink dried, the Gulf is sliding straight into open escalation. 2:45. The Mirage 2000-9S, agile French-built multi-role fighters, stop hiding. They start running deliberate decoy maneuvers right over the water. Sharp pull-ups, snap rolls, dive straight at the waves. The whole point is to force Iranian radar operators to keep reacquiring targets, splintering their attention across the entire southern arc so the Bavar 373 cannot concentrate fire on any one threat. Here's the thing. The Mirages are the loud part of the play. The quiet part is happening behind them. Inside the Gulf of Oman, the USS Gerald R. Ford is operating as a silent digital fortress. Arleigh Burke destroyers in the escort group activate their Mark 41 vertical launch cells. Inside the tubes, Tomahawk guidance computers wake up and start crunching terrain-following profiles. Higher up, F-35C Lightning IIs thread through the seams in Iran's radar net using sensor fusion and MADL data links, feeding live target data back to the launch ships without ever breaking radio silence. 2:57. Iran fires back hard. Older surface-to-air missiles arc into the sky in volleys, but something strange starts blooming behind the main American formation. Faint electronic ghosts. Tactical pulses Iranian radar cannot classify. Operators are still rattled from the Mirage decoy dance and miss the warning. The Bavar 373 quietly stops chasing radar reflections and starts tracking by velocity vector, locking on to the actual electromagnetic emissions bleeding off the Mirages. A Sayad, 4 leaps off a coastal launcher. Multi-mode anti-jam seeker. Mach 5. In the lead Mirage's cockpit, the launch warning screams. The pilot rips the stick over into a 9G brake turn, dumps flares, kicks out decoys. The Sayad 4 stays locked almost to the very last instant. It does not need to hit. The proximity fuse detonates an electromagnetic pulse warhead right inside the UAE formation. The MADL link, the umbilical cord back to the Americans, snaps. 3:15. Cockpit HUDs flicker and stutter. The shared battlefield picture starts dying packet by packet. In seconds, every Mirage is flying solo. No fuse data, no command picture. Worst of all, they can no longer see the Iranian air defense net closing in on them. On the Ford, the command screens flash red. Sir, we are losing the UAE network. The strike group commander stares at the fracturing map and gives one order. Switch to active defense. Get the Growler airborne. Reopen the corridor. 322. Sensing American confusion, Tehran throws a two-pronged punch. Wide area electronic warfare blankets the Strait of Hormuz. This is not random noise. It is engineered jamming designed to blind American sensors and break radar locks. At the same time, dozens of Shahed drones lift off the Iranian coast and race low over the water toward the destroyers. Then comes the impossible. The Bavar 373's processing algorithms find a seam in the F-35C's radar cross-section, a hard lock. The American cockpit lights up with a critical lock warning for an aircraft built around the legend of invisibility. That warning is a punch to the gut. 326. From the shadows, an EA-18G Growler announces itself. Boeing's premier electronic attack jet does not try to crush Iran's whole network. It does something smarter. It punches one narrow signal corridor through the jamming fog, a 1-second hole. That is all the F-35C needs. The pilot snaps into an aspect change, the internal warfare suite fires off a counter-emission, and the Bavar's lock evaporates. Then the deception lands. American carriers and destroyers seed the Gulf with digital decoys, painting an entire ghost fleet onto Iranian screens. Iranian gunners empty precious SAM stocks into empty sky-chasing phantoms on the destroyers. Phalanx CIWS turrets spin up, and C-RAM launchers come online, shredding incoming Shahed drones into clouds of debris. 330. The Growler widens the signal corridor and the coalition data network knits itself back together. Mirages reconnect. F-35Cs become invisible quarterbacks, feeding precision target data into the UAE fighters without lighting up their own radars. The Iranians can still see the Mirages. They are completely blind to the F-35Cs a few kilometers away. The brains of the attack are invisible. The hands are visible but untouchable. 345. Above Lavan Island, the kill zone is open. F-35Cs drop GBU, 3-9 small diameter bombs. Mirages follow with JDAMs and GBU. 1-2 laser-guided weapons. Tomahawks scream in from the Arleigh Burke launchers. Distillation stations, command bunkers, surviving Bavar, 373 nodes. Each one disappears in pillars of orange flame. Iran's air defense crews, scrambled and electronically deaf, can only watch their strategic core get dismantled in real time. Tehran did not lose the island. They lost the illusion that the core was untouchable. And that is the part that haunts. Imagine if that Growler had failed to crack the corridor. 5 more minutes of Iranian electronic dominance and the whole operation slides into open war. The line between a surgical strike and a global blow-up is thinner than a radar wavelength. If this hit, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next breakdown.